but then it was a lot. So they were actually doing the vote while I was cold calling. And in my gut, I just knew that what Congress was doing was wrong. I couldn't articulate it, why or even how, but I just knew it was gravely wrong and it wasn't in my best interest. I remember walking into my next cold call. It was a business, a pretty big one, and I didn't even try to sell or introduce myself. I just looked at the guy and I was like, "Do you believe what's happening?" Because he had the news on, and that was what was on the news. And he was like, "No." He's like, "Crazy, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is messed up." And I left. I just walked out. I think I forgot what I was even doing. I was kind of in a haze, and at that point, I guess it hit me. The government really doesn't care about me. And maybe you're thinking, well, duh. But I'll never forget that feeling because it was the first time I became fully convinced that I have to do what's best for my family and only I am the one who's responsible. And if I want to do something, if I really want to make a move, or it would be on my shoulders and I was responsible for that. By late 2012, I was ready to get into Bitcoin. I was just waiting for the right moment. I had seen enough, learned enough. I was kind of chomping at the bit. I'd been talking to my wife about it over and over. But this is a good point to just pause for a second and just say, it's important to have a conviction for the thing in which you invest. My conviction to invest in Bitcoin was supported by my understanding of what Bitcoin was and why it mattered. And it was enough for me to take a risk because I knew that the government was, like I said, as I just said, was never going to make great decisions for me and my family. That fell on my shoulders. It's also important to have a conviction for why you'd want to get into Bitcoin, whether it's to invest or something else. If you don't, then when things go sideways or they spiral out of control or they get all confusing, you're going to have a much harder time. But when things went really badly during my time investing in Bitcoin and I saw things, whether the price plummeted or I made a stupid mistake or I wasn't sure if I was supposed to buy or sell or hold, my conviction, my reasoning for getting into Bitcoin because I understood it and why it mattered was my bedrock, okay? That was my North Star. So I ask you, are you in this to make money? That's fine. Are you in it to hedge against failing currencies, economies, or for the technology to make a world a better place, to make your city a better place, your town, to help people save, because we don't do that anymore and Bitcoin helps you. You don't have to have a conviction, but I think that would be a mistake. Have a conviction for why you want to get into Bitcoin or any investment for that matter. Understand what you're investing in so that you'll not be shaken when things don't go your way. It was because of my conviction that I think I made better decisions, not perfect or not the best all the time, but better decisions, logical decisions instead of emotional decisions or panic decisions. So that's the first bit of my Bitcoin story from 2011 all the way up to right at the end of 2012 and going into 2013. That's what's next.